Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sports Blitz here, and we're back with another NFL mock draft. Before I get into it, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,600 subscribers. Guys, free agency is 8 days away. I know once free agency has been going for a while, the mock drafts are going to be changed quite a bit because we don't know quite what's going to happen yet. Um, so they will probably change quite a bit, but these mock drafts are going to be without any expectations in free agency. So let's go ahead and get on into it. I will try to do a couple trades. I'm only going to do one round today. So yeah, let's go ahead and get it done. So with the number one overall pick, I'm going to be honest. I personally think the Bears are going to trade the number one pick. Um, Now, there's been talk about them potentially trading back twice. I could actually see that happening quite a bit. I'm just trying to decide at what points they're going to trade back. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to have the Texans trade up right here. So the Bears are going to go offer them the first overall pick, then the Texans will send them number 2 and number 12. Now, I know that seems like a lot for the Texans, but this completely secures their guy. And believe me, there's other teams here that would honestly offer more. I mean, the Colts would probably offer two firsts and two seconds, if not another first. A team like the Panthers would probably offer like three firsts, a second, and heck, maybe even another second at that point. So that first pick is very valuable. I do think that number 2, number 12 is pretty realistic in this situation. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to force the trade, and we're going to have the Texans go in and select quarterback Bryce Young. And basically, why the Texans wanted to do this is so that they can, prevent other teams from jumping in there and stealing their guy. Preventing the Colts from doing so, preventing the Panthers from doing so, stuff like that. Now, I did mention that the Bears could very well trade back twice. Um, I think we're going to go ahead and actually have them do so. I think what we're going to do, trying to think if it's more realistic for them to trade back to number 4 or number 9 with the Panthers. Because at this point, I don't know if the Colts would really feel the need to trade up. Really, the only reason they would trade up in this case is out of pure fear that someone else is going to jump them. I think we're going to have that happen, actually, though. We're going to go ahead and have the Carolina Panthers trade up. Now, this number 2 pick is a little bit less valuable than number 1, but it's probably still worth quite a bit. So the Panthers are going to go ahead and send both their first, well, their first this year and next year, um, and one of their seconds this year. And we're even going to do their 2025 first round pick. Um, and this I'm kind of unsure of because I mean there was actual talk of this being the trade package if they were to trade to number 1. So I think let me actually change it up. We're going to switch from 39 to the 61 here, but we'll also include a 2024 fourth round pick. I think that's pretty realistic here. So we're going to go ahead and force trade, and the Panthers are on the clock here with pick number 2. And I'm going to go ahead and have them pick quarterback CJ Stroud from Ohio State. Then we have the Cardinals on the board. Um, Cardinals are probably a team that could probably trade back if they really wanted to. I, looking at the situation, I don't really see a team that would like be desperate to trade up right now that that would really give the Cardinals much value. I think at this point, I think you have to go either Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. Question is which one? um, I think free agency will definitely play a big part in determining which way they go. Um, I think edge is a bigger need for them, and Will Anderson is a really good player to go with right here. So we're gonna do that, and then pick number 4. The Colts are on the board, and they're gonna go ahead and go with the combine star in Anthony Richardson. So they go ahead and also get their franchise quarterback. Now the Seattle Seahawks went ahead and extended Geno Smith. That was what I expected, honestly. So yeah, we're not going to be looking at a quarterback here because it was a 3-year deal. It wasn't like just a 1-year deal and let a quarterback sit behind him for a year. Like I think Geno's going to be their guy for a few more years. So we're going to go ahead and have them actually take defensive tackle Jalen Carter right now from Georgia. So now the Lions are on the board, and I feel like there's a few different ways they could go. I think what we're going to do today is actually have them go with Christian Gonzalez. I don't really agree with PFF putting Devon Witherspoon above Gonzalez. I think that's a little crazy if you ask me. Um, Now number 7, the Raiders. Now there was talk that they may not want to go into this year, you know, with a new veteran quarterback, and they may look to just go ahead and draft their quarterback here. It's hard to tell because the Raiders could be a team that may just, you know, sit on it for a year and honestly maybe a prime team to get either Drake May or Caleb Williams next year. Um, it's kind of a matter of do they want to get a really good player here right now or wait till next year and get one of those more promising guys. Because me personally, I think that'd be a better idea than getting Will Levis, but I don't know what the Bears would or the Raiders would do because I I don't know. I I feel like they're in kind of a bigger rebuild situation and they may want to take a quarterback. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that though. I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and give them Tyree Wilson. Go ahead and compliment Max Crosby on that other side. Give them a good, really solid pass rush. I think that helps out quite a bit. So now the Falcons are on the board. They're pretty upset that the 2 top edges are off the board right now. And I think given the circumstances, I think we want to explore a potential trade. Cuz I mean, if I'm the Falcons right here, I don't know that there's anybody here that I like desperately want at pick 8. Unless you want to take a shot on Will Levis, but I feel like they'd be more likely to give Desmond Ritter a chance, you know? So, I don't know. I think we're going to go ahead and look at a trade. Give me just a minute to figure out with who. Okay, I think I figured out who I'm going to have them trade with. We're going to have them trade with the Titans, actually. The Titans are going to try to trade up here and snag Quentin Johnston. So we're going to go ahead and offer pick 11. I'm going to offer pick 72 here. And we're going to offer a 4th next year as well. I think that's a pretty reasonable trade for both sides. I mean, the Falcons get a 3rd round pick and another 4th round pick. And honestly, they'll probably still be able to get the guy they were wanting to get right here. So I think that's a good pick, good trade for both sides. So Titans now on the board. They're going to go ahead and snag Quentin Johnston from TCU. He is still after after the combine, he is still my number one receiver. Okay, I do still envision Jackson Smith and Jigba being a slot receiver at the next level. Um, Now I want to clarify, he's going to be a really good one. I think he's going to immediately come in and be one of the best slot receivers at the next level, but I don't see him really playing on the outside. That's why Johnston's still my number one guy. Um, but the reason they needed to jump him was out of fear of the Bears potentially taking him at number 9. So instead, the Bears are going to take Justin Fields' guy and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Um, I know Justin Fields has really been pulling for them to get in Jigba. They do have multiple first round picks, as you can see. I think it's a win-win situation for the Bears. I think that's good for them. Now the Eagles are on the clock, and I'm gonna go ahead. I may get some disagreement here. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I like Elijah Cansey quite a bit, but I do like Brian Breesy more. We're gonna go ahead and have the Eagles go ahead and take Brian Breesy right here. Um, Now they're the Eagles defense is getting pretty old, okay? Specifically on the defensive line and their cornerbacks. I just have this sneaky feeling that they'll be able to re-sign either Fletcher Cox or Javon Hargrave, but not both. And if that's the case, they're going to need a really talented young D tackle to help out. Now they already have Jordan Davis. I get that. Um, but really, I feel like this is also a good emergency plan in case they can't sign either of them. Then you have an amazing defensive tackle duo in Breesy and Jordan Davis for years to come. Um, Plus, I actually really like the fit of him in Philly. For the Falcons now on the board, when I mentioned before with their trade, they'd still be able to get their guy here. I was talking about Lucas Van Ness. Honestly, I think there's a chance they would try to take him at number 8, but if they can trade back a little bit and still get him, I think it's a win-win for the Falcons. So, Falcons get their guy in Van Ness. And then the Bears do even more to help out Justin Fields. And they're going to take my number one tackle in the draft, and that's actually Paris Johnson, not not Peter Skronsky. Now, Paris Johnson actually also, if I'm not mistaken, which don't quote me on this, guys, because this one I'm just saying because he's also Ohio State. I believe Paris Johnson also protected Justin Fields a little bit too, so he kind of knows how he works. I could be wrong on that. It's just speculation, but either way, I do think the Bears need a tackle, and Paris Johnson would be a really good option right there. The Jets are now on the board, and I'm going to go ahead and give them safety Brian Branch from Alabama. Patriots on the board, and I think there's a few things they could do here, okay? I think they're actually in a pretty solid spot. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure what their long-term plan is with Mac Jones, but I can tell Bill Belichick is frustrated with the quarterback play, and I'm going to say he's going to take Will Levis right here, and they're going to compete for the number 1 spot. Best case scenario, one of them completely erupts and give each other good competition, and they have their quarterback problem fixed. Worst case scenario, it doesn't really um build Mac Jones' confidence or make him want to compete, and they can work on building Will Levis instead. I mean, I don't see how that would be a bad situation for the Patriots. Then the Packers now on the board, and we're going to go ahead and give them I think we're honestly going to go ahead and give them tackle Peter Skoronsky from Northwestern. Their offensive line's getting a little bit older, specifically David Bakhtiari, and he's had some big injury concerns as well, and it may be time to look to replacing him. Washington now on the board, and we're gonna go ahead and give them cornerback Joey Porter. Steelers on the clock now, and I'm gonna go ahead and give them. Let's see. I think I'm gonna give them Devon Witherspoon right here from Illinois. Um, so the Lions are on the board, and I believe we gave them Gonzalez earlier. Yes, we did. Okay. So right here, I think we're gonna go ahead and help fix the interior D line a little bit and give them Kalijah Kancey. Bucks on the board now, and I'm not even gonna hesitate right here. I'm gonna give them Bijan Robinson from Texas. Seahawks on the board, and let's see. We took an edge rusher earlier. I think right here. Let's see. Might need a second to think about this one, actually. Okay. So, I think what I'm going to do for the Seahawks here is since they got Jalen Carter earlier, we're going to go ahead and give them an edge rusher. And this may make some Seahawks fans upset, but I've actually really, really started liking Nolan Smith, like a lot. He absolutely killed his combine performance, did awesome there. I'm gonna give them Nolan Smith. I think that's really, really a good fit there. Um, I mean, you're also pairing him up with Jalen Carter, mind you. Um, I really like that fit. Chargers now on the board, and I'm gonna go ahead and give them. Let's see. Let's look at corners. I really like Cam Smith. I immediately looking at these guys, I think Cam Smith is a really good fit there. The Ravens. Let's see. You know what? I think looking at the receivers here. Now, Ravens fans, tell me which one you'd rather have. I think I'm actually gonna go Zay Flowers. He's a tough kid, really good receiver. Tough hands, shifty. Yeah, I really like the kid. Vikings now on the clock, and I'm gonna go ahead and give them edge rusher Miles Murphy from Clemson. Jaguars on the board, and if I'm being honest, I think they really, really need some offensive line help. I feel like you saw quite a bit this last season. Trevor Lawrence being rushed quite a bit. So we're going to go ahead and give them tackle Broderick Jones from Georgia. Giants on the board now, and honestly, I would consider them the exact same situation. So we're going to go ahead and actually give them DeWanda Jones from Ohio State. Cowboys on the board now, and honestly, they're probably going to lose their tight end Dalton Schultz. So we're going to go ahead and give them Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. Then the Bills are on the clock. And I'm going to go ahead and give them. Let's see. I'm still really thinking. I'm going to go ahead and give them Jahmyr Gibbs. He seems like a good fit in Buffalo for me. Bengals now on the clock, and they also need a tackle, so we're going to go ahead and give them Anton Harrison. Saints on the clock. They don't need a quarterback anymore because they got Derek Carr. So we're going to go ahead and give them wide receiver Jordan Addison. Absolute steal here for the Saints, if you ask me. Um, Eagles on the clock, and I think NK. I've seen Twitter. I know how you guys feel about him, but I'm just being honest here. I love Keely Ringo. I think the dude is a freaking stud, and I think pairing him up with Darius Slay in Philly is a match made in heaven. So I'm gonna go Keely Ringo right here. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm gonna go ahead and have them take. So they're probably there. There was something that came out actually that they're not going to be able to get Frank Clark back. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually give them a Will McDonald from Iowa State. Um, Another high potential guy right there. So there you have it. There's my 1 round mock draft. Let me know what you think of it in the comments section below. Again, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.